Problem number 19 is a subtraction problem, and I need to find a common denominator. You find common denominators for adding and subtracting, not multiplying and dividing. You will make fewer sign mistakes if you change this to adding a negative. The common denominator is going to be x plus 6, x minus 2. That is going to be your common denominator. This first fraction is going to need to multiply by x minus 2, so it will match the common denominator. The second fraction is going to need to multiply by x plus 6, so it will match the common denominator. I'm going to write that a little bit better. 5 needs to multiply by the x plus 2, and the negative 7 needs to multiply by the x minus 6. So then I need to distribute 5x minus 10 minus 7x minus a minus makes a plus 42 all over the common denominator. Next step. So then I combine like terms. Combine these two for a negative 2x. Combine those two for a 32. Wait. I have a sign mistake right here because this should be a positive 6x. When I copied it from here to here, I miscopied, and so this should be a negative 42. And so for my answer here, let's fix this one right here. This should be a minus 42 over x plus 6, x minus 2. I could factor out a 2 or even a negative 2, but that would not allow anything to cancel, and so that is a perfectly acceptable answer. So let's look at problem number 20 is an addition problem. And so the first thing I'm going to do is factor the numerator, x minus 1. I'm going to factor out an x. The factors of 10 are 10 and 1. X plus 10, x minus 1. Plus 3x plus 10. Now, in this part right here, between these two terms, there's not any adding glue, so it will make this problem simpler if I go ahead and cancel that out right here in the first step. That's going to give me x over x plus 10, 3 over x plus 10. They now have a common denominator of x plus 10, so when I add them together, that is what I am going to get for my answer. Problem number 21 is an addition problem. So I need to find a common denominator. So this is going to factor into x plus, I said x plus 5. This is going to factor into x plus 5, x minus 5. This is going to be x minus 5. Once again, if I cancel this right here in this very first step, this is going to be x over x minus 5 plus 6 over x minus 5. They have a common denominator, and so you add the numerators. That will be your final answer. Problem number 22 is a subtraction problem. Change subtraction problems to adding a negative. That's going to be 7 over 2x minus 3. Factor out the 2. Plus negative 10. Factors of 12 will be x minus 3, x minus 4. That is going to be the factors of the second denominator. Next step. My common denominator is going to be 2x minus 3. I already have an x minus 3. I need an x minus 4. I compare this denominator to that denominator. I'm going to need an x minus 4 to make the denominators the same. This denominator has x minus 3, it has x minus 4, but it doesn't have a 2. I'm going to need to multiply that by 2. I'm going to need to multiply the 7 times x minus 4 and the negative 10 times 2. Next step. 7 times x is 7x. 7 times 4 is minus 28. 10 times 2, that's a negative sign, and a 20. Next step, combine like terms. 7x minus 48, since both of those are negative, 2x minus 3, x minus 4. That is the final answer. That is an x minus 4. I don't know why it's not showing up very well.